Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel here called Wine with Jimmy. It's a wine educational channel designed to help you enjoy and learn about wine. So this is actually a set of videos which is for the diploma of WSET. And it's part of the Rhone section, which is in the D3 Wines of the World. Now, Rhone, I've split into 3 sets of 8. Rhone Overview, which is 1 set of 8. Northern Rhone, another set of 8. And this one, the Southern Rhone, which is another set of 8. So I'm going to go through all the key parts of the Southern Rhone, the big expansive area that it is, with Google 3D Earth videos and maps to boot. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can get in touch with me here at Wine with Jimmy. Please do by commenting on this video below and clicking things like and subscribe down there to make sure that you get weekly updates from all the videos I put up. You can also get in touch by the social media that you see at the bottom of every slide. So here we are looking at part 1, which is really the introduction to the Southern Rhone. Now, part 1, this one, and part 2 on the AOC structure will be available as free content on the world of YouTube. But parts 3 through to 8 will only be available on my e-learning portal. That's at www.winewithjimmy.com. It has a huge amount of exclusive video content to help you with your studies, plus things like flashcards, revision sessions, maps, and all those kind of helpful things. So please do go visit there if you require more and more information. It's also ad-free, which may be a huge benefit to you. So we're going to be looking at the introduction and the growing environment. And let's have a quick look at the location first of all. Here is a map to identify what we are looking at. So this is in the Southern Rhone, of course. You'll see there's a city up here called Montmillemar. And then at the bottom, you have places like Avignon and cities of Nîmes. And the Rhone is here running from the north of this map to the south as it empties into the Mediterranean. And it really creates this big area. It's a flatter landscape than the north, but we still have certain peaks and mountain ranges that we'll discuss, like the Dentelle, for example. And we have this area on the right-hand side, which is called the left bank, and an area on the left-hand side here, which is called the right bank. You always follow the direction of the river, and then you determine what is left and what is right. We'll be talking a lot about the left bank, this big expansive area, because it includes places like Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Gigondas, Rasteau, Vaccaras, Baume de Venise, etc. So that's the big focus, but we will also look at places like Lirac and Tavel on the right bank. So I'm going to show you a Google Earth video, which gives you an overview of the area. And for each of the videos in this section, I will always show you a Google Earth video because it gives you really good feel for the location. So you get to see the topography, the terrain, any important sites, and it gives you a real good sense of the location. So let's have a look at this video. Here we go. It'll be probably just 2 or 3 minutes long, and I'll talk you through it so we can get a good feel for the location. So there you are, there's France, and you'll see that we have identified the Rhone River as it comes from the Alps through Lake Geneva, and then it heads south. And we have the Northern Rhone section above that and Southern Rhone. It's actually just focusing now on southeastern France. Here is the whole of the Rhone Valley, and here is the Southern Rhone section there in red. So let's have a look at this location in a bit greater detail. So here you are. Here's the real central mass. You can actually see it's quite busy. You'll see that we've identified 2 places, Avignon and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Now we're going to look at Avignon first of all, because mightily important in history due to the papal states being located here for a number of popes. So Avignon holds that key historically here, and here you'll see the very famous Palais de Pape, as we call it, the Pope's Palace in Avignon, and of course very much wine important for sacramental purposes, included in religion, and therefore wine became superbly important across this quite powerful city. And the wines were coined the Pope's wine, Vin de Pape. And we will learn in one of the next presentations that one of those popes built a summer palace, a residence in an obscure northern area here in this map. And it became known as the new castle of the Pope. And there is a part of it, just a corner of it left standing, because unfortunately it was mostly blown up as the Nazis retreated from the Second World War. It was a munitions dump and it was blown up. But it became quite important because it was a new castle been built by a pope, and it became known as Newcastle of the Pope, Château Neuf de Pape. So yeah, that's quite a wonderful sight to see as well. And now we're just going to have a bit of a look at the feel of the location of this zone. You'll see that for the most part, a lot of the Southern Rhone is this flat expanse, some of it gently undulating, but we find a lot of plains, like the Plaine de Dieu, for instance. But you will also see that there are some mountain ranges in this location too. And in fact, we're here looking at some of them. We've got things like the Pic de Luberon. We've got things like the Mont Ventoux and Mont Blanc. And we have the Dentelle, as you can see in this map as well. So it's not void of mountains. In fact, they do play a very crucial part in some of the crus. But you get a good feel for the location there, mainly flat with some of those mountain ranges and places like the city of Avignon and Château Neuf de Pape. So there you are, gives you a nice overview. Don't worry if you think that was a bit short. I am going to revisit this for the next 8 presentations, so you get a good feel for the local parts of that. So we'll look at Gigondas and Vacaras. We'll look at Lirac, Tavel. We'll look at it for Côte de Rhône and all of those kind of things. So let's talk about a few more things here as well, just about the climatic type here. So the Southern Rhône would be classified generally as a warm Mediterranean climate. So mild winters down here, but very warm and dry summers. And often really, it gets really into summer temperatures in May. And that can last well into sort of September and October. Rainfall levels, here you are. So the overall rainfall would be classified as adequate for grape growing. The Southern Rhône is somewhere around 27 inches per year, about 680 millimeters. But drought is an increasing problem in the area, and irrigation is permitted if drought is severe, but there are set and strict laws around that. And of course, something, if you have already watched the Northern Rhone section, you will know quite a lot about this, and the overview section too. The cold Mistral wind blows from the north. It comes from the Northern Rhone Valley, and it's funneled at that point into that valley, and it really picks up momentum, and then it really empties across this large expanse of the Southern Rhone. The land here, as mentioned, is flatter here in the south than the north, and therefore there, for most areas, is little protection against this Mistral wind. We mentioned a lot in the north that there's lots of valleys, lots of amphitheatres where there is protection against the Mistral, but here a lot of the vines do not have protection. So as a result, grape growers have to be very clever, and they need to train their vines by low bush vines. So very much a low center of gravity. So it is anchored into the ground and is not really heavily affected by the wind or mitigated. It's mitigated in that instance. So Grenache Noir, which is of course the major cultivated grape here, is nearly always trained by a low bush vine. But the variety Syrah or Shiraz is usually grown on trellising, and it's tied to wires and stakes to give it support and protection from the wind. The picture I've included here is actually a Sanso vine in the south of the Rhone, near Rasteau, and it shows you clearly the effect of the vine. It's a bush vine, but it's been permanently kind of molded into that shape where it's been constantly hit from the right-hand side of this picture by the Mistral wind. So we will go through all of the key components of the Southern Rhone coming up. The next video is the AOC structure. Then we go into the large sections of the Côte de Rhône and Village, and then in all of the Cru villages like Girondas all the way through to Tarvel. So please do join me for those. If you do have any comments, questions or concerns, remember, get in touch, and you can do so by commenting on this video below. Make sure you click like because it helps, and click subscribe because you'll get the updates weekly. Otherwise, social media at the bottom of every slide as well. And if you are in the United Kingdom, please come and see me at one of my establishments. Come and see me for a glass, or a bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Bye.